Tonight, we bring you local reactions to the election result as the NDP will form a majority government. Plus, the Prince George Budget Town Hall goes tomorrow, providing a chance for community input to council. And an early morning structure fire caused an estimated $400,000 in damages. Good evening, everyone. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. Our top story tonight: despite a judicial recount of 2 ridings in BC, government has officially been established. David Eby's NDP will be the new government, but barely. And there are still a lot of questions as to what's in the future for British Columbians in the north. Cheryl Jan reports in tonight's top story.
I'm glad to be here. It was an eventful campaign.
That's how Premier-designate David Eby addressed the media following the release of Elections BC results that have placed his NDP government into a majority government.
Our goal is to work with any MLA that wants to make sure that this place works for British Columbians on those priorities that I laid out: cost of living, housing, healthcare, what matters to British Columbians.
But John Rustad maintains his position from election night, regardless of a majority government.
No, our objective is going to be to oppose David Eby and his government and look to bring it to an end as quickly as possible.
But because of the blue wave north of Hope, there will not be a cabinet minister representing either BC North or BC Interior. And it's something Premier-designate Eby says he's well aware of.
But you're right, I do see an urban-rural divide in the election results that's very concerning to me. We need to govern for the entire province. We need to represent the entire province, and that's what we're going to do.
It's not something new necessarily. It does happen from time, in Ottawa and Victoria, when there are large regions of the country that aren't represented in cabinet because the governing party may not have any representation from those areas.
It's a political picture Rustad says he is all too aware of and expects there will be considerable frustration once again. Eby was asked if he would consider a Conservative as the Speaker.
I haven't had the opportunity to work with all of the people who were elected as Conservatives in the recent election, but my commitment to every MLA that was elected is if you share our values around making sure this is a welcoming province for everyone, that we're going to fight hate and racism, these are non-negotiables for us, then we're happy to work with you to make sure that the legislature behind me works for British Columbians.
It's not unheard of. There is precedent in recent history.
The NDP Green minority government in 2017 chose then BC Liberal MLA Darryl Plecas to be the Speaker in the legislature. So that's a definite possibility, and one that the new razor-thin majority NDP government.
I think that would be a mistake to do that. We want to make it as difficult as possible for him to be able to move forward his agenda. We want to make sure that if he is moving things forward, that it takes into perspective the things that we want to be able to move forward if he's looking for any kind of support.
In the meantime, Eby says now that he has the approval of the Lieutenant Governor, he will proceed to establish his cabinet and get government moving. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
All right, and with more on this, Adam Burles joins us now to break everything down. Adam, first of all, so we just heard there's a lot of decisions David Eby's going to have to make with regards to new cabinet ministers. When can we expect a new cabinet sworn in?
Well, I think we can expect to see signs that a new cabinet's going to be formed after the judicial recounts. Those 2 judicial recounts for the ridings of Kelowna Centre and Surrey Guildford are going to need to be done within the next week or so. I think that's the time frame that it's going to take Elections BC to send those recounts to the courts for the judicial recount. So I would imagine after the recounts have been concluded, we will start to see the shapings of a cabinet take place. We may not see an official announcement for a couple weeks yet, just because of how the recount system works. It's not necessarily a fast process, even though that we know that we need to see recounts. They just don't happen like that. They don't happen the next day after a recount is requested. So it's going to be a couple weeks yet until we find out who's going to be in cabinet. It's going to be a different looking cabinet, as we lost a number of cabinet ministers in the election. So going to be some new faces in cabinet for sure. And so with such a razor-thin majority from the NDP, obviously before they had won that majority government, when it was looking like it could be just a minority, there are a lot of talks about potential partnerships with the Greens. That might still be necessary, though, considering it's such a small majority, correct? Yes, well, because they are just at the threshold of a majority, 47 seats, but there needs to be a speaker, and usually the speaker is from the governing party, but as precedent has shown, that's not necessarily been the case. A member of the opposition party can be named the speaker, but John Rustad has essentially ruled that out, or at least he has said that he has ruled that out. some members of his party may look at that speaker position as an upgrade, because there is quite a pay increase if you become the speaker. And the speaker in the British Columbia legislature, they don't vote except for when it's confidence motions or tie votes. So when it comes to passing legislation, there's a key difference with the speaker position. Or a member of the Green Party, one of the 2 Green members elected, could be a speaker as well if David Eby wants to hold on to his 47 seats as a majority. So if he takes a member from his own party, he's forced to work with the Greens. If he takes somebody from the Greens, he doesn't necessarily have to work with the Greens when it comes to passing legislation.
Right, and David Eby mentioned willingness to work with the Conservatives as well, but with some stipulations, obviously.
With some conditions.
Yes. Now, John Rustad, as we just heard in that story, has not ruled out pressing for another election. But how soon could that realistically happen? What could that entail?
Right. So with another election, again, there would have to be a confidence motion put forward in the legislature by John Rustad or a member of the opposition party. So cabinet hasn't been formed yet, the legislature isn't sitting yet, so there has to be a confidence motion put forward in the House. Things like budget speeches or a speech from the throne, which would come first. The throne speech lays out the government's priorities, what they're going to achieve in the next legislative session. So if they vote confidence on the budget speech, and let's say enough MLAs come together to vote down the speech from the throne, that could trigger an election. That could be by the end of the year, or it could be the following. So it's still too early to tell when that could happen.
Okay, right. But it will be at least a year before this
well, yes. It just depends on when David Eby decides to have the throne speech.
All right. Well, thank you very much for all that, Adam Burles. It's good to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you for your insight. In other news, Prince George Mounties are investigating a suspicious death that occurred on Monday night, resulting in 2 arrests. Police responded to an assault in progress at a home on the 2300 block of Victoria Street, where they found a deceased 61-year-old man. Now, police do suspect foul play to be involved here. Here's Sergeant Craig Douglas with more.
2 arrests have been made. They were made at the scene at the time of police arrival. This was, investigators believe this to be an isolated incident that was targeted and that there's no further threat to public safety.
An early morning structure fire caused an estimated $400,000 in damages. Prince George Fire Rescue responded at 2 a.m. this morning in the 4300 block of Old Summit Lake Road, where they found 2 structures and several vehicles engulfed in flames. Fire crews quickly did extinguish the blaze, and fortunately no injuries were reported. The cause of this fire is currently under investigation.
We have many properties within the community that are in what we call unserviced areas, meaning there's no pressurized hydrant service there. So we have 2 apparatus that we haul water with. They're called tenders. And so we supported our fire operations by shuttling water from the last serviced area, which is the Bellamy area.
And so what of the 2 structures was probably the most damaged?
Both of them are complete loss, unfortunately. What I can say is there were no occupants, there were no injuries. All the people residing there made it out safely, and we're thankful for that.
The City of Prince George is reminding residents that this is the time to have your say as the 2025 budget consultation process continues. Public input and feedback is vital to the city, as that input will set out a blueprint for council as they enter budget season. Adam Burles has more on the budget town hall scheduled for tomorrow.
It is the final few weeks of budget consultation as city directors are gearing up to answer questions and hear priorities this week at the budget town hall event.
There's not a lot of discretion on where we can make changes, but where we can make changes, it's ever more important to hear what's critical to the public, to the residents of Prince George. So this is our opportunity to get feedback on how they feel about snow clearing, about road improvements, about police and fire services, about parks too.
The town hall will take place from 3:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Prince George Conference and Civic Center, where there will be opportunities for some one-on-one time with councillors to learn more about city services and the budget process.
This is a chance for residents who are the ones who pay the taxes and support the entire corporation and the city to get their say, to give us feedback on what's working and what needs some more help.
There's also an online survey that residents can participate in, and the way the survey works is that you go through various service areas and you can say how much you think funding for that particular area should increase or decrease or stay the same. This also gives the city an idea of where they should increase or decrease funding in certain areas during budget discussions.
It's really about, do we put more into our pools and then not more into our roads? How do we deal with inflationary costs as they're coming in? And set aside money for emergencies as well.
The link to the budget survey can be found on the city's website as well as our website at ckpgtoday.ca. Adam Burrows, CKPG News.
Pacific Coastal Airlines launched its inaugural non-stop flight between Prince George and Kelowna this morning. The new flight will operate 6 times a week from Sunday to Friday, departing YXS at 7:45 a.m. and arriving in Kelowna at 9:10 a.m. The return flight will depart Kelowna from 6:20 p.m. and arrive at Prince George at 7:40. Gordon Duke, President and CEO of the Prince George Airport Authority, says that they're very excited to see an increase in diverse and convenient travel options available for our community, region, and province. BC Hydro says Site C Dam project in the province's northeast has begun generating power. The provincial electric utility says in a statement that the first of 6 generating units on the site has begun operations after completing testing and commissioning procedures. BC Hydro says the reservoir filling is anticipated to be completed later this fall. It's expected that the site will be fully in service by fall 2025, adding about 8% more supply to BC's electricity grid. On this week's Do Your Health, we talk about teeth and how to protect them after eating all those Halloween treats. Sorry, this picture spooked me a little bit. Sam Benison spoke with an associate dentist on how to ensure your pearly whites stay that way.
And now to Your Health, brought to you by Hard Drugs, 3rd Avenue Pharmacy, and the Phoenix Pharmacy.
Halloween is fast approaching, and for some parents, the scariest part about it might be the health of their children's teeth. However, Dr. Jasper Huang says there is nothing to fear as long as they get a good cleaning after.
I mean, I have a sweet tooth myself. I think it's just something that we have to do in moderation. So when we're enjoying it at Halloween or any other, Christmas as well, it's always a balance. So it's a balance between what we're taking in, such as candy, snacks, and what we're doing to take care of our teeth. So it's a fine balance, and if we have too much of that candy and we're not taking enough care of our teeth, we're gonna swing towards having decay or cavities.
Bacteria will feed off of all sugary sweets, but some are worse than others.
Sticky, chewy candies that can get stuck kind of in the grooves of the teeth. That makes it harder to clean out. Sometimes if you just did a quick brush after that, it wouldn't get all of it out.
Making it especially important to floss after you brush.
We always say that the teeth stick together really closely. They're like best of friends and you can't separate them. So even if I sat here brushing for 10 minutes, I may not get the spots in between. Flossing is also very important.
And if your child doesn't want to brush their teeth, lead by example and try to make it a positive experience.
We always want to brush for about 2 minutes. So you might pick, a kid's favorite song, something like that, and just play that in the background. It acts as a kind of a timer, but it also brings some positivity to that whole interaction.
As for what Dr. Huang will be after when trick-or-treating, he says he loves Smarties.
I always loved eating Smarties. Smarties are my favorite, and there's something so colorful and enjoyable about it.
Sam Benison, CKPG News.
To Your Health, brought to you by Hard Drugs, 3rd Avenue Pharmacy, and the Phoenix Pharmacy.
The lowest gas price in Prince George is currently sitting at $1.49.9 per litre at Costco. That also happens to be the lowest price in the province right now. Manitoba has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.26.9 per litre. BC, meanwhile, has an average price of $1.65.7 per litre.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit Domino's.ca to join the club.
The Prince George Cougars are back in action tonight, looking to get back in the win column against the Moose Jaw Warriors. The Cats are coming off a tough shootout loss on Saturday, though they did manage to get 3 of 4 points over the weekend series against Victoria. Boreavalis and Riley Heights, they've both been fantastic to start the season, as you can see on your screen. The Cougars have been up and down, though, so far this year. They are currently tied for second in the West, though, with 18 points. And tonight kicks off a stretch where 7 of their next 8 games come at home, so it could be time for them to go on a nice little run. Puck drop for this one. It's at 7 o'clock. The TSX is down 3 points to close at 24,563. The Dow Jones is down 155 points to close at 42,233. And Canfor went down 66 cents to close at $16.61.
Good evening again, everyone. A great day out there today. Things are changing just a little bit, though, going into Wednesday. This is our look back, though. Some sunshine in many areas, a little bit of cloud cover on and off, but overall a pretty good-looking day. So now this is the front that is coming our way, and it is really aiming towards most of the north coast. High to Guay, gusty winds up there just ahead of that. But as it moves inland and kind of slides down the coast, we could be a little bit impacted from that. We could see some precipitation, which will show you here. Futurecast, again, cloud cover Wednesday. That's what we're looking at ahead of this front. But you can see a lot of it is really mostly to the west of us. But we'll leave that chance of showers in the forecast for Prince George. Burns Lake may actually see a little more action from this front. But certainly we are going to be in the path of it, if you will. Going into our night tomorrow, Wednesday night, we could actually see a better chance of some showers falling and even some wintry mix or mixed precipitation as we move through the evening hours. Overall, though, the next few days don't look too bad. So this is what we're looking at, though, for our BC map and the highs tomorrow. Conditions, again, a little iffy in some areas. To the south of us, we've got a good chance of showers, of course, along the south coast, especially inland as well through Metro Vancouver. The Okanagan will pick up some cooler temperatures and showers and a chance through Kamloops. But we're looking okay. Yeah, it's just a slight chance through the day, better chance into the evening if we do see anything at all. Our broadcast region, this is what it looks like. So there's the snow in Burns Lake, and may even see some centimeters accumulating, around 1 to 3 centimeters or so through the day tomorrow. 5 up in Mackenzie, cloudier skies through many other areas, highs of around 7 down through Quesnel. 12 at Vancouver, a wet one, as I mentioned, along the west coast. 6 degrees in Edmonton. We're seeing a drop in temperatures again through the prairies. 8 in Regina, 6 in Winnipeg, down from those double digits in Winnipeg from earlier today. But look at the temperatures in Montreal, Toronto. It was a wet one there today. Tomorrow looks really great. 20 degrees in Montreal, 21 in Toronto. So these are very warm temperatures, of course, for this time of the year as we go further east. Sun cloud mix later into our week, so we should get some sunshine returning, although if you're looking ahead to Halloween, it is going to be dry for the most part throughout the region. Not everywhere, but most areas it will be dry, but overcast is what we're looking at. So it'll be cool and cloudy, especially for all the trick-or-treaters out there, and that's what we'll see in Burns Lake, even some fog out there as well. But cold tonight, down to -3, a little bit of snow tonight and tomorrow, as I mentioned. 6 degrees your high tomorrow. Mackenzie, -3 with overcast skies tonight. A mix of sun and cloud tomorrow, mostly cloudy, but you may have a few sunny breaks in there as well. And then overcast on Thursday, 4 degrees the high. Not a whole lot in terms of precipitation coming your way the next few days. McBride will see most of the action on Friday as we see a little more of the shower activity come through tonight, though it will be cold at -10. Quesnel, 2 degrees, mostly cloudy skies expected. Again, it is going to be a cloudier day tomorrow. Not a lot of precipitation, maybe through Thursday afternoon. Hopefully not, though, when all the trick-or-treaters are outside. -2 tonight, an increase in cloud. We have mostly cloudy conditions tomorrow just ahead of that front. And then again, really slight chance of showers in the mix tomorrow for Prince George. Into the evening, the chance does go up just a little bit. And then we're looking at highs of around 5 or 6 degrees for Thursday. Halloween will be pretty cloudy.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit domino's.ca to join the club.
Well, since I'm filling in for the CKP3 today, I decided to make it all about basketball. Why not? Let's take a look at some of the greatest plays from the hardcourt from last night. As our handsome anchor just mentioned, the NBA season is in full swing, and there was a full slate of games last night. Let's kick off the CKP3 with a great sequence on both ends by the Dallas Mavericks. First, the big block inside by Daniel Gafford, which leads the Mavs on a fast break, ending with a two-handed slam by P.J. Washington. Beautiful stuff here from a Mavs team with title aspirations this season. Next up, Orlando Star forward Paolo Banchero is primed for a big year, and he showed why last night.
Shot clock at 10. Paolo Banchero, he's going to the line with a chance to tie the game.
Banchero with a 50-piece for the Magic. That's a lot of points, folks. Orlando gets a big win over Indiana in an Eastern Conference showdown. And finally, Toronto's own Jamal Murray breaks the hearts of Raptors fans.
Jokic, 5 to shoot, hand off to Murray. Murray around everybody, lay it up and in to tie!
Murray with the huge layup inside to send this one to overtime, where Denver would ultimately be too much for the young Raptors. Jamal Murray's clutch bucket in Toronto takes tonight's top spot on the CKP3. That's all for tonight, though, folks. Thanks for joining us, as always. Caden, he's up next with the Today Show, and Adam Burrows is up at 6:30 with the 6:30 broadcast. Have yourselves a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.